So this is Lawrence Owen talking about how the Colts are going to go on a 5-0 rush. If you can't hear it, Lawrence, let me know.
What's going on? I just want to put the NFL on notice. I don't see the next 5 games, the last 5 games of the season the Indianapolis Colts have, as being anything, anything of a problem for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I think the toughest game will probably be the Patriots. I think the Colts though match up very, very well against all of them. I don't see a game where in the next 5 we're looking at Houston and New England and Jacksonville and the Raiders and even the Cardinals. I don't see any of them having a defense that's going to prevent Jonathan Taylor from having at least 20 carries, at least. And our defense is built for speed. Now the Patriots, they have a very physical, demanding run game, which, in my opinion, will put the Colts in, kind of. That's why it's going to be their toughest game. But in all honesty, I think the Colts can win that. I think there's a shot that the Indianapolis Colts can close out the season 5-0 and finish off 11-6. I know. A lot of you were like, "How could you even say that?" Blah blah blah. But I've watched games. I've watched the games. I kind of get a little idea of what Frank Reich likes to do too. And none of these teams can stop the run. Not like some of the other teams that we've played. Indy's going to smoke somebody. And it's going to start in our NRG Stadium against the Houston Texans. Watch out.
So clearly you beat the Texans, and let's be real with that. That's nothing to brag about. However,
It
though,
was still a 31-0 game though. So that is
it
something to brag
was
about. When you goose egg any team in the NFL,
it
that's
was. So,
something to
but
brag about.
when the Patriots, I think the Patriots goose egged the Jets, or they goose egged
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. I mean, it was good, but you're like,
Mm-hmm.
however, though, you did that for Twitter. So I don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
want you to focus on the Patriots, but I want to give you more of an opportunity to expand upon that, because now they've already run one of your 5. Now they're going to, and I just unbookmarked it. It's been bookmarked since I saw that come out. And we had a little bit of fun on Friday with it. But now I
Mm-hmm.
want to give you the opportunity to expand a little bit more about why you have so much confidence that the Colts are going to run the table.
Because after that Tampa Bay game, that's a situation that I think Frank Reich learned from, not just from, uh, uh, you know, fans, media, coaches, ex players, current players on the team. You can't just not run the football just because the team goes into, a heavy box. Especially when you have a running back that actually averages more yards per carry versus heavy boxes than normal boxes. He's one of those rare type of players. And after that game, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the run defenses. I get there are some very good defenses in the NFL. New England has a very good overall defense, but they can be ran upon. Jonathan Taylor can possibly get good yardage on that and help open up things. This is a situation where I feel like I don't see another team throughout the rest of the schedule that has a defense that will so focus on stopping Jonathan Taylor from running that will put Frank Reich off from actually trying to run the football and force Carson Wentz to pass 50 freaking times in a game.
So could we talk specifically about the Patriots?
Yeah.
The one thing that Bill Belichick is well known for is taking away your best weapon. And obviously, Jonathan Taylor is your best weapon.
Yes.
I do want to point out, too, that during, believe it was the wild card game against Tennessee a couple years ago, he didn't shut him down, but he significantly slowed down Derrick Henry on a year where Derrick Henry was running over everybody in the NFL. With a defense very similar to this one. And the Patriots have had their issues with passing teams running the football on them. However, you're walking into a team that you got a secondary that's very comfortable in man-to-man coverage and are good on those 50-50 balls in coverage. So it's kind of counterbalance. Pittman could get the best of Jackson get the best of him, whatever. But I'm saying you got guys who can take that away. Could you see a team like the Patriots selling out on the run and for maybe not to start the game, but forcing Frank Reich to try something different? Is Frank Reich the kind of guy that'll panic if they were because I went through, we'll go through it in a second here as well in a different story, but I went through the stats, and if you look at the beginning of the season against some of those tough run teams, and I know the offensive line problem was a problem, Jonathan Taylor got held to 3.5 yards per carry. Now it hasn't since I think week 9 I saw or something like that.
I think it was early in the season when he went on that big run.
Yeah, so he had the first. Yeah, so it was October the 11th was the last time, but his first 6 game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game. Okay, 10.4 against Houston again, but this first 5 games of the season, 3 of them were held under 4 yards per carry, right? And it happened to be against teams that are kind of known for stopping the run, and I could see the Patriots and have the safeties doing it, selling out to stop Jonathan Taylor and saying, we're going to take this guy out of the game or not let him be as effective. Is Frank Reich the kind of guy, if the first quarter is going slow with the run game, is he the kind of guy who would stick with it? Or is he the kind of guy that'd be like, okay, Carson, it's now on your shoulder. You got to start throwing the football.
I think he'll more balance it out. I think he'll go run heavy early, but I think he'll balance out a game. He'll throw passes in there to force you to stay honest. That's what he's been doing to a lot of teams like the Rams, like Tennessee when they were at their peak with their defense and things of that nature. So and Baltimore, that he generally against games like that, they generally have been very, very even, where Taylor will get 16 to 20 carries. But it's kind of odd that 2 of their last 3 games, Jonathan Taylor's had 32 carries in a game, and it bookended the Tampa Bay game. He had 32 carries against Buffalo, then he goes and only gets 16 carries against Tampa, and we lose. And then he gets 32 carries again against the Texans. I think he's going to try to force feed Taylor. If Belichick sells out against the run, that's when I think that you will see Carson Wentz throw it a little more, but I don't think that he would take Jonathan Taylor completely off the table at all.